Hey, this is Mr. Brown, and I'm going to be sharing with you the slides for the week of 3/30/2020 online mini lesson. And a lot of this is going to be me going over what the deal is with these new lessons and how all of this is going to work. So first thing, I hope all y'all are doing well. Please, reach out with anything. Let me know. I'm here to support you, and I know that this is new for y'all. This is new for me too, doing this online. So bear with me. I'm gonna do the best, and communication is going to be really, really important. So when you have those questions, reach out. I'm gonna do my best to get back with you, and I'll talk about that a little bit more as we go through this. First thing is, and I put in timers because initially I was going to do this via Zoom, but due to the permission forms, I'm just going to use Screencastify. But when you go through the slideshow, I want you to answer these first couple things. We are going to do a bell ringer for this. Same instructions. Write the questions, answer in a Google Doc. Make sure you label this as bell ringer number 1 and 2. Write out the questions. First one, just how have you been? Second one, review what are the characteristics of a civilization. Um, Everything that you write down in this slideshow, go ahead and type it up on a Google Doc for me and then turn it in. That way that I will have it and I can assess you and give you credit for doing it and participating. And this is especially important since we're having to do this recorded and not by Zoom. Okay, so make sure that you are writing that down on the Google Doc, answering these questions. All right, our stuff for online school, how this is going to work. My office hours, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon. If you reach out to me during that time, I'm going to be on my laptop. I'm going to get back with you as quickly as possible if it's within that window. And pretty much anytime, sort of 9 to 5, kind of like that typical workday hours, maybe with the exception of when I'm getting lunch. But for the most part, if you reach out 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, I will be able to get back with you quickly. And because I know some of y'all are working and stuff, I'm going to try to be flexible and get back with you even outside of the 9 to 5 window. But, obviously, I sleep and eat and I'm living my life. Try to keep it within 9 to 5 of when you're expecting me to return your message. But if you really need an immediate time, 10 to noon is that time. If you need to speak to me and it's not a simple question that I can get back with an email, one of the things we can do, I can call you, and the way we'll do that, if you can just email me with the phone number that's going to be best for me to reach you at, that would be awesome. You can just send me that email and I will get back with you as quickly as I can. That will probably take place during the office hours, and we can talk about your assignments or anything else that we need to during that time. Additionally, I am obviously recording this video. If you're watching this, you already found it, so that's a little less important. I may offer a session later in the week, kind of more, a follow-up type thing activity. What I'm wanting to do right now, we were going to do a Kahoot at the end of this lesson. What I'm looking at, and I'm going to double check on the other teachers' times, but we're going to do a Kahoot game live on Thursday. So if you log on probably Thursday at 10 a.m., I will verify that later in Google Classroom. But we will log on and do a live Kahoot, so that'll be fun. Please, I'm really looking forward to that. It'll be nice and competitive, and just something to engage y'all. The other thing, the choice board. I'm gonna go over this right now, and so you can understand everything about that. All right. And Miss Cox went over this exact one as an example, but I'm just going to point out a couple other things. Obviously, my email's up there if you need it. Office hours are 10 to noon, but again, pretty much 9 to 5. I'm going to try to get back relatively quickly. 10 to noon, I'm going to try to make sure, unless I'm currently communicating with another student, it's more or less as quickly as I can possibly get back to you. The other time I may be working on some other stuff, grading things, things like that in that 9 to 5 window. The YouTube channel, I have made a YouTube channel. You can click on the link and subscribe. This is kind of more my how-to videos. I may end up putting these lessons up there as well. But this is things that can really help you with doing stuff. So like one of them I have linked. I've got how to create your own Google map for choice number 1. And that's something that can be really beneficial for you. You will submit all 4 of the assignments that you choose on Google Classroom. You are also going to submit the Google Doc with your answers to the slideshow questions. Okay, that's 5 total documents in the assignment. It's literally going to be called Week of 330 Choice Board on Classroom. That's where you're going to turn it in. Okay, and it will be 5 things total. 5 things total should be attached. Notice at the top, here's our objectives. Students will be able to explain the characteristics of a civilization. There's a link to view this slideshow up there without having to watch the whole video, as well as the video link, which if you're watching the video, you may have already found. And so then in these boxes, you're going to complete one assignment. I'm not going to read all that to you. The one or the 2 big things, number 1 is true for everybody, but number 5 is the one, and it's the one in gray. You have to do this every time for every class. The other thing that I'm doing in my class, you have to also complete one assignment from each row, which means top row, bottom row. You've got to complete one of each of those. The middle row, you're already doing number 5, so that's knocked out. So basically, you're going to pick one from the top row, you're going to do number 5, and you're going to pick one from the bottom row. So at that point, you've got 3, and then you pick any other one to be your 4th one. I'm going to briefly go over these. If you have specific questions, once you pick them, reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to help you. Number 1 is creating a Google map. You're going to have 5 points for each of the 5 characteristics of a civilization, and you will have an image. You will have a description of that characteristic and the example for what it is. And the paper pencil option, draw and label, but you're probably not doing that if you're listening to this video. So pretty much I'm just going to go over the online things because if you're listening to this video, you probably have internet access. Number 2 is pick a game. And really what I have in mind with this, guys, is a video game. It could be a card game. It could be a board game. And you're going to evaluate whether or not that game takes place in a civilization based on each of the 5 characteristics. So you're going to go through and you're going to say, okay, does this thing, right, this characteristic, is it being fulfilled within this game? As far as the game's setting, of course. The online product, I would love for y'all to make a video on this, and you're going to show, hey, the game. So we need to see the game to understand this, because you have to assume that we don't know what it is already, because I probably don't. But, if you're going over Fortnite or whatever game it is, and you talk about the setting that's taking place, right? Is this taking place in a civilization? You could also do a board game, so like Monopoly. Is there evidence that this is taking place in a civilization? And you have to go through each of the 5 characteristics. So that one should be a fun one. Number 3, pick any civilization in world history except the one you did in your Ancient Civilizations project and evaluate whether or not it was a civilization based on each of those 5 characteristics. Okay, and then you must go through each characteristic in detail, what you're going to do. And I've got how-to videos on how to make a slideshow and how to use Screencastify that you can get to on my YouTube page, which is above. Please join that and subscribe. But you're going to create that slideshow, a Powtoon or a Prezi, or you can do a PowerPoint, any other visual aid you want, but then you're going to record a video of you explaining the information while using your visual aid and use Screencastify for that. So basically what I'm doing right now, I went through it like when I'm going through the slideshow. That's all you got to do. Have your slideshow set up. It only needs to be like 5 slides, maybe 7 with an intro and conclusion, right? But basically a slide for each characteristic. If you want to have more than that, you can, but just so you kind of know what you need there, okay? And just to keep in mind, each thing should approximately take you an hour or less, right? So if it takes you roughly an hour to watch my video and take the notes, right? And then each of the 5 activities you pick, that's the rough timing. Is about an hour. So you think about you're doing about an hour a day per class, 5 days a week. We normally have 80-minute classes. That's about 20 minutes less work than you would normally have if you were in school still. So if you manage your time, you should be fine with that. Number 4, create a game to review the characteristics of a civilization. Make sure you have all 5 covered in there. You can do this digitally, and you can use a game platform like Kahoot or Quizzy or something like that. You can even come up with it some other way. I want you to be creative if you choose that option. Number 5 is the required one, the graphic organizer. You're going to complete that attached graphic organizer, and I'm going to click on that so you can see it real quick. What you're going to do is top left box, you're going to simply define what a civilization is. And then in each other box, you're going to tell me, hey, this is what the characteristic of a civilization is. Here's its definition. Here's an example. That's all you got to do. Okay. Nice, simple graphic organizer. That one should not take you long at all. Number 6, this one's kind of outside of the box as far as it really is more of a current event thing and primary source type thing. Doesn't really have as much to do with civilizations. This is one, if you choose this one, I want you to create your own primary source. How are you dealing with the life changes during the COVID-19 virus? And what you're really doing, you're documenting, hey, what's going on? What's it like for you? And this is something that one day when we're studying this, and because I'm going to tell you, this is an unprecedented time we're going through. And your kids, your grandkids, if you keep up with this, they can be like, what was that it like living through the COVID-19 virus when we basically shut the whole country down? You can say, hey, right here's what I wrote at the time, what I was thinking for my class. And it would be a really great primary source that you would have about yourself. And so I think that would be really cool. And also, I would kind of like to hear what it's like from your perspective as well. Keep it in that half a page to a page range, obviously Times New Roman 12-point double spaced. Okay. Number 7, 8, and 9 are also dealing with COVID-19. Remember, you're going to have to pick one of these because you got to pick one from each row. So number 7 is explaining the role each characteristic of our civilization plays in fighting the virus. Okay. So you would do, again, this is a Google Slides presentation. If you do this, record using Screencastify and submit that video as your assignment. Number 8 is you're going to find sources, so a collection of sources. You'll go and Google these, but they're providing evidence of the impact COVID-19 virus is having on each characteristic of a civilization. And then you'll label which source fits each characteristic and write one sentence explaining how that source is demonstrating how that characteristic is being affected. So, for example, if you were finding something talking about maybe Charlotte shutting down, right, you would say, okay, well, here's something about how Charlotte's dealing with this. This source represents advanced cities. That's all you got to do. Nothing crazy there, but it'll also allow you to find some news articles and kind of connect to what's going on. Number 9 is probably my favorite one on the whole grid. I'm really excited about it. When I shared this with my coworkers and we were doing some collaboration about these, this was their favorite as well. So I'm really encouraging you to do number 9. But all you need to do for that is formulate a plan to stop this COVID-19 virus. You must explain how each characteristic of our civilization is going to work to fight the virus. Your online product, you need to make some sort of video explaining your plan and sell it to us. Convince us why it's going to work. Kind of take that like, this is a political plan that we're laying out. We're going to do these things and we're going to address each of the 5 characteristics of a civilization in order and use them in order to stop this pandemic, right? So that is the deal with this part of it. Again, if you have questions about any of this, please, please, please reach out. I'm here to help. I've got the office hours. I'm still getting paid to work from home during this time. So, it is literally my job to help you with this. Reach out with any questions at all. Like I said, you can email me your phone number, and I can call you, and we can get in touch. And I'll be more than happy to help you with that, guys. Just some things to focus on with your work and in general. Be responsible, right? This is you have to take ownership. Okay. You've got to make sure that you're doing this, you're doing it well. You've really got to make sure that you are being responsible for your own learning, because it's going to be a lot tougher for me to get on to you if you are not doing what you're supposed to do, if you're not sitting in the classroom with me, right? So you've got to be responsible and you've got to deal with the structure of it. Make a schedule, plan study time, okay? Give yourself time for each class 5 days a week. Still enjoy your weekends, but make sure that you're building in that time to work on this, okay? And I would keep in mind that I would probably make part of that time. I know that this whole window is during lunch. So, you can still build your lunch break in, but 10 to 2, other than maybe a 30-minute lunch, I would have 10 to 2 part of that time where you're working, because that's when all of your teachers' office hours are going to be happening, okay? So if you have questions, they're going to be able to respond to you because it's somewhere in that 10 to 2 window. The other thing, contacting me, again, reach out. You have my email. If you don't remember it, it is on the slideshow. So email me, send me your phone number, and I'll be happy to get back in touch with you if you need any help at all. And the last thing, again, if you have those questions, please, please, please ask. I want to review our notes with you now. So, first thing, what's a civilization? And a civilization is simply the most advanced stage of human society. You do need to write this slide down in your notes. Make sure you have it. Same thing with our next slide. What are the characteristics of a civilization? Advanced cities, specialized workers, complex institutions, record keeping, and advanced technology. Okay. Remember, advanced cities, kind of like Raleigh, Charlotte, yes, even Wilson, because it's going to have those characteristics of a city. These are advanced cities. Specialized workers. Remember, this could be anything. So if you're a welder, if you're a teacher, if you're a preacher, basically if you do anything specific where that's your job and you're not a nomad, you're probably a specialized worker. Complex institutions. Remember, this is like our government, okay? That's a very complex institution. Record keeping. This is essentially just writing, anything where we're documenting stuff. All right, and then the last one, advanced technology. Keep in mind, this could be something as simple as the wheel. It can be as high tech as our computers and the internet. But these are those characteristics of a civilization. All right. What I need you to do once you've done that is now in your Google Doc, write an example of each characteristic of a civilization. And do not steal the examples that I just shared with you. Be creative. So if I took it off the board, pick something else. Thank you. Last thing, Kahoot. Okay. I had this planned when we were going to do the live Zoom meeting, and I decided not to do it due to some of the regulations. I've got a Kahoot for us. What I'm wanting to do, and I'm going to share out the exact time, but I'm thinking Thursday morning, 10 o'clock, the start of my office hours. We're going to stop and we're going to play. We're going to get on. I'll share the Kahoot with you so y'all can all log on, and then we can get started and play. I think that'll be a great, quick thing. Do some review and also get that competition. Go and get them juices flowing even from home. All right. Again, if y'all got any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm more than happy to help. I really hope y'all are doing well during this challenging time. I miss you guys. I wish we were in school and I was seeing y'all when we were learning. I know y'all are probably like, I'm so glad that we're not in school, not seeing Mr. Brown. But, I do wish that we were there. And I really, really hope that y'all put a lot into this and can get something out of it, because I still want y'all to learn and be successful. And even though this is different, I feel like this is the type of challenge that either it can push you forward into being an adult. And I really, I'm not even going to go the other option, because that's what I expect from each and every one of you. I want you to take on, hey, it is time to put away childish things, and it's time to become an adult and be responsible for yourself and your learning. And if you do that, I promise you can still learn and we can be successful, even though we're having to learn from home, guys. All right. Thank y'all. Thanks for watching the video. I hope that you got something out of it. I'm going to try to make my future videos a little more interesting than this one. I know this had a lot of boring stuff because it's the first time I got to go over it. But log on next week. Make sure you get your work done. Don't hesitate to reach out and stay safe, guys.